Good morning, Dan. And in for Amy this morning is Chicago Tribune columnist John Cass. And John, April 15th is Holy Saturday, and there's something wrong with it also being tax day. But it is.
It should be election day.
You ready for, yeah, right, tax day is election day. You ready for some dad humor? You're a dad. You'll like this. You ready?
I'm ready to laugh. Laugh my bleeping head off right now.
John Cass, what is the difference between death and taxes?
What? I don't know, Dan. What?
Congress doesn't meet every year to make death worse. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm here all week.
Take my taxes, please.
Okay, Henny Cass. So here's the thing. You've got the issue of tax reform that comes to mind because of tax day in the offing. You also have the issue of the IRS. And John Koskinen and Lois, I Take the Fifth Learner, are still running around free. One, still the IRS commissioner, being Koskinen. We're 90 days in. The IRS was weaponized in the previous regime to target people based on religious and political beliefs. The IRS, apparently, according to a Treasury Department IG report, was illegally taking money targeting small businesses under the Bank Secrecy Act, 91% of whom the Treasury IG found had obtained the money legally. They were running legitimate businesses, and they were still getting harassed, having their money taken by the IRS.
I wonder why there are no jobs.
And I wonder why we haven't seen President Trump and a Republican Congress act on the IRS. Talk about a layup. And not just a layup politically, but it should be a priority because of the power that the IRS has in our society, which making it less free and increasingly so. And so for a status report on what will be done at IRS by this Republican-controlled Congress, we're pleased to be joined by Congressman Peter Roskam. Peter, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Dan, John, good morning. Good to be with you guys.
Good morning. And so why is Koskinen still there? Why is Lerner not in a jumpsuit?
So Koskinen is still there because Donald Trump has the authority to dismiss him, and he has not exercised that authority. It's that simple. There's two political appointees at the IRS. One is the commissioner, and one is the general counsel. Both of them serve at the pleasure of the president. Every Republican on the Ways and Means Committee has written to President Trump saying, please dismiss John Koskinen for all the obvious reasons, and particularly, not just for things in the past that he's done, but particularly moving forward. If we want to have a good discussion and debate and fix our tax code, you got to have confidence in the tax enforcer, and Koskinen's got to go. So the president, it's very simple at this point. The president can remove him. It doesn't. There's no other. There's no other.
Well, why isn't he removed?
Yeah, have you guys gotten feedback? No feedback.
Yeah, I don't know. He hasn't responded, to my knowledge, to that. And then what we're trying to do with Lois Lerner is, yesterday I wrote, along with the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, Kevin Brady, who's written to the Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, and said, look, the statute of limitations has not run on Lois Lerner and the crimes that she committed. We at the Ways and Means Committee, back in 2014, we sent a letter, made a criminal referral to Eric Holder saying we think that we've demonstrated that there's probable cause that she denied conservative due process and equal protection. She impeded an official investigation with the Inspector General. These are actionable items. These are felonies. Now, the Obama team obviously just completely dismissed this. Remember, Obama was given an interview, and he said there's not a smidgen of, corruption at the IRS. That's while the investigation was going on, which was a huge signal to the Justice Department. But that said, I think Attorney General Sessions can take this up, can bring this case, and bring justice here. There's no reason not to pursue this.
All right. Now, do you think it has anything to do, I mean, this is supposition, of course, but with the politics going on within the kind of senior advisory level in the administration yesterday, President Trump, in an interview, saying that of Steve Bannon, one of his senior advisors, I like Steve, but you have to remember he was not involved in my campaign until very late.
He's just a guy.
I had always beaten all the senators and all the governors. I didn't know, Steve, I'm my own strategist, and it wasn't like I was going to change strategies because I was facing crooked Hillary. Steve is a good guy, but I told them to straighten it out. Them, I think Jared Kushner and him, or I will. Is the jockeying for preeminence within the inner circle of Trump? Is that something that perhaps is distracting him from doing the important substantive work, like changing out Koskinen?
I don't know. I don't have enough insight into that interplay and those very, very personal dynamics between, people that are close to the president and who's closer and who's got the influence and so forth. Here's what I know. This is pretty straightforward. And the statute of limitations is still far enough off. The Attorney General has an outstanding reputation as somebody who calls balls and strikes and enforces the law. And to your point earlier, Dan, when the IRS is weaponized, and it is used to target, it is incredibly corrosive. And if you're a liberal, here's the thing to remember. If somebody's a liberal, the idea that a conservative, a conservative administration could then weaponize this is, should have your attention.
Right.
So the idea is like, look, let's just make sure that the bureaucrats are not driving a personal political agenda. And that's exactly what Lois Lerner did.
You mean like unmasking people because you don't like their politics?
Yeah, that's right. Like unmasking people, or like going on shows on, like Susan Rice did on Benghazi, saying it's a video when it wasn't a video. It's all of those things. But here we've got an example where the Ways and Means Committee has made a criminal referral. We are declaring that we believe that Lois Lerner committed a crime. We have made this direct referral to the executive branch. They have the ability to execute the law. They've got the ability to bring justice here. The legislative branch obviously doesn't. But we've essentially laid it all out for them in the past, and we're urging the Attorney General, take this up, review this, look at this. It could be that some of these things are easier to prove than others. My instinct is it's probably easier to prove that she impeded an official investigation by misleading the Inspector General. Fine. Take up that case and pursue that case if the targeting, per se, is harder to pursue. I don't care. All I know is, in my opinion, and I think the opinion of the overwhelming majority of constituents that I represent, she crossed the line by going after people. And I'll tell you what, there was a Right to Life group that came in and testified before the Ways and Means Committee, and it was one of these moments that had a big impact on me. That the Right to Life folks came in from Iowa, and they said that the IRS was sending them letters asking them what they did in their meetings, and the Right to Life folks said, we do this, we do that, and the other thing, and we have prayer meetings, and the IRS wrote to them and said, tell us about your prayer meeting.
Yeah.
That's outrageous.
Right. Send us copies of your prayers.
What kind of prayers do you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. So listen, if we sit back and say, well, statute of limitations, this case is hard to prove, this, that, and the other thing, and wring our hands and come up with excuses not to do it, I think that is disappointing is the understatement of the decade.
Now,
that would be a real lost opportunity.
Now, in another matter, you mentioned Kevin Brady, House and Ways chairman, and you're on the House and Ways Committee, and he has played an instrumental role in trying to advance the Obamacare replacement legislation. There's a story out of the Wall Street Journal yesterday saying that Trump is threatening to withhold payments to insurers to try and force Democrats to the table on Obamacare replacement. I don't really see any acceptable Obamacare replacement running through congressional Democrats, but the larger question is, where is Obamacare replacement? There was some suggestion that when Mike Pence was made the point man on it with the House, that we were going to see a version 2.0 that was going to move to the Senate in with all due speed. That hasn't materialized. Where are we in this process? Are we going to see a 2.0? Are you guys going to get something moved out of the House before the fall recess?
Here's where we let me tell you what we should do, because I don't know where we are right now. I can't give you a straight answer on that. This is what we should do. We should dump this bill. And the reason that we're in this process right now is because congressional Republicans over the past several years, and I put myself right in this, never passed the bill to which we aspire. Why didn't we do that? Because it's hard, miserable work, and there's not a conservative consensus on what to do about health care. But had we done that work, we would be in a better position right now. We could have passed the aspirational bill out, It sits over in the Senate. It gets filibustered. Then the Senate comes up with this complicated hijinks called reconciliation, by which they can move a bill back. Right now, we're trying to explain a process, this reconciliation process, that is nearly impossible to explain. So let's not try to explain it. Let's show why we have to do it this way. But I think dump the current bill. All it's doing is creating a lot of acrimony, and reset the whole agenda. Take a longer view. Don't try and get something done by an arbitrary Thursday a couple of weeks ago. I mean, spare me. Let's move this thing out, build it out, take the time, use the process. It's not quick work, but it'll be good work when we get it done.
All right. He is Congressman Peter Roskam, of course, the Republican representative from the 6th Congressional District in the western suburbs. Congressman Roskam, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Bye,
Great
Pete.
to be with you.
And he joined us on the Turnkey.pro answer line.